Hi, welcome to Tansson TV Plus. Of course, I'm Brandon.
And Mom, we're so happy that you're joining us here again today. Today, we're going to talk about the TV show Night Court, not the original. We're going to talk about the new Night Court that is airing on NBC.
Yeah, so this new series has been, on NBC since 2023 January, and we're very excited to speak about it. We spoke about the original series back on our original series for Tansson Talks TV on our original channel, and so I'm excited for us to speak about the new series on the new channel.
Yep, so am I, Brandon.
Yeah, and so just to provide a little bit of information, well, the series is produced by Universal Television and After January Productions and debuted on January 17th of 2023. And Mom, let's go ahead and dive right into this episode here, the pilot episode.
All right, and I'll be really brief with just about the general synopsis. This story is about, this TV show is about a courtroom, and of course, that happens at night. And we're introduced to Abby Stone, who is coming in. Her father was the previous judge, was a judge at this particular night court years and years ago, and he has passed away, but she is there trying to kind of create the same type of image that her father had.
Yeah, and so overall, I mean, it definitely is revival series, at its core, but in my thought, it does a good job of trying to, to do a mixture of both being a new series and a continuation of the original.
Yeah, they really did a nice job. And just so the our audience does know, we're talking about the pilot episode that did air, and so I thought the pilot episode did a really nice job of kind of setting the stage for the show. I thought it was more of a traditional pilot in the sense that we do learn everyone's name pretty quickly, we learn their backstory really quickly, and we know that Abby's coming from, I believe, upper state of New York, and like I said, back into the same court as her father.
Yeah, and I guess asking, for you, since you did at least somewhat view the original Night Court. So, what were your thoughts like going into this new series and seeing the familiar setting, but with the new take on it, with sort of the next generation, so to speak?
Um, I thought they did a really nice job of trying to recreate that feel. I will say that there was a little, for me, Abby versus Harry. Harry Stone would be her father. Um, I think that Harry Stone had a little bit of charisma about him. Not to say that she doesn't, but Harry Stone just truly had a little bit of a charisma about him that I think might be missing a little bit in this version with Abby. But the same premise is there. You could tell that they're doing their best to try to keep everything kind of parallel and trying to model off of the first show. They were able to bring back Dan Fielding, which was very nice, and he has got a sense of humor that's very nice and fits very well. It fit very well with the first version. It fits very well with this version. They're able to bring up his past and actually give him a little bit more of a past. They don't talk a lot about it, of course, in the first episode. They just allude little bit, and they just kind of said he did have a wife. They did say that he and Harry did lose touch over the course of the years. So it didn't sound like that he knew about Abby. It sounded like he knew about her, but he didn't know her, really didn't recognize her when he saw her.
Yeah, and if we're being 100% technical, I don't know how exactly the timeline works in terms of that she would have been born during the time of the original series. I don't know about that stuff, but nevertheless, I feel like for this series alone that they do, a good job of at least trying to do that. And I can see that even though it's an ensemble cast, that they try to really work the partnership between Abby and Dan, which I think is really nice because I think they play off each other really well for both this episode and the series.
They do. I thought they did a really good job of playing off each other also. And one of the things I thought kind of worked for them is they kind of flipped the role of Dan a little bit. Dan, who was originally the assistant district attorney, is now the public defender. And so having him kind of switch sides and kind of see that they had to change his character a little bit to make him, not to say more likable, because I thought he was likable in the original, but just to kind of make him a little bit more likable, probably to the audience, and to kind of bring him over to to create that sort of a different type of persona for him.
Yeah, and it really does add character development and sort of matures his character. a little bit and brings it into modern day 2023 and 2024.
Yeah, it really did. It really did.
Yeah, and a lot of times we see in these first episodes that that we'll have some sort of way to introduce everyone to the premise of the show, and we did see that at the very beginning of the series.
Yeah, we did. We saw that Donna, quote unquote, Gertz, well, she was introduced as the bailiff, and then but she was introduced at the very beginning, when she's speaking to the judge, not even knowing that it is the judge, and then we also see Neil, who is also there also, and he is introduced pretty quickly once they're in the court. Once she's sitting down at the bench.
Yeah, so it's definitely I mean a nice way to sort of segue into that, and I sort of like the parallels that they did with that because it showed, I mean Abby coming in, to the court for the first time for her as a judge, but then the parallels of what Dan was up to because, like I was saying before, I like that they are very much including him, that they're not just having him as a background character, that they're having him as a true integral part of the show and how it progresses forward.
It is, and it's really nice the way. And I didn't mean to leave Olivia out, but they the way they kind of you can kind of compare how Dan used to, if you watch the original, how Dan used to be with Olivia, and see the differences and how they're kind of changed the way it is. Whereas Olivia does have a little bit likable, more quality to her, whereas in the other one, Dan was a little bit sterner per se.
Yeah, and definitely, I like being able to see Dan's evolution. Like I know I saw just a few episodes of the original series before the new series debuted, and so I kind of liked being able to see, I mean, Dan's progression from one series of Night Court to the next, and then in terms of Olivia, I personally really liked her character. Over the course of the two seasons that have aired thus far, and actually, I'm familiar with the actress. I'm not sure if you remember one of the shows we watch. It was a one season show a long time ago of Kevin Probably Saves the World, but she was one of the actresses in there alongside uh, the new One Day at a Time. So it was sort of nice to see a familiar face in a new show.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. I do remember both those shows that you're referring to. I don't quite remember her from either show, so sorry, but yes, I do know which two shows you are referring to. Though.
But yeah, and so yeah, but overall, I mean, I think that it sets up a nice premise for the series and creates a nice array of of characters for it. And so I look forward to seeing, I mean, how the show continues to grow. It's now finished its second season, going into its third, and so I look forward to its development. I hope that NBC continues to allow time for it to grow and mature like the original did.
I hope so too, Brandon. I do.
Yeah, and one thing I would note too is that I know we like discussing theme songs, and this one has does indeed have a theme song to a shorter variety.
Yeah, it did. Of course, it disappeared a little later. For the, I believe it's just the first episode that we talked about, or the first couple episodes, where the theme song is there, but it's a much shorter version of the song. And then, if I remember correctly, at least during the second season, I think it disappeared altogether.
Yeah, so it was there for I believe all, if not majority of all of the first season, and then starting with the second season, it just shows that title card, with rolling credits, which is a bit unfortunate, but I'm at least glad that this first season had a theme song of some sort because it's unfortunately a dying breed, and both of us we really enjoy theme songs.
Yes, we do. We do.
But is there anything else that you have, that you want to discuss for this pilot episode of Night Court 2.0? And this is actually the second pilot, by the way.
Okay. No, I didn't have anything else. I do like that it is a revival show, and that's something we've talked about before. How we do like watching our revivals, and we've talked about that in regards to other series that we've talked about on here.
Yeah, we definitely enjoy revival shows. I'm quite familiar with them. That's partially what I base my studies off of. But yeah, so I'm very excited, like I said, to continue seeing more revival shows, and I hope that those in the future, put as much effort and energy into it as they did with this pilot right here.
Yeah, I hope so too, Brandon.
But yeah, and of course, since we always like pointing out our our little connections, of course this connects to the original Night Court we've previously spoken about. But other than that, Mom, I really enjoyed having this discussion, and I can't wait to tune into season 3 that debuts this fall and catching up to the rest of season 2. I got a little behind.
Yep, same here, Brandon. Well, I got a little behind too with season 2, but yes, and please let us know in the comments if this is something that if you enjoyed watching Night Court, the original, and or the new version that's on right now.
Yeah, definitely let us know. But like I said, this was Night Court from After January Productions, Universal Television, and Warner Bros. Television. And thank you so much for tuning in to our discussions, and we can't wait to speak with you next time.
All right, everyone, have a great day.
Bye.
Bye bye.